Now let us get into conditional statements. So in the previous session, we had discussed that computers do make decisions based on few conditions. So you can control what exactly the program should make based on the conditions. So uh, it will be either yes or no kind of conditions, which often involves making comparison. So we had seen few comparison operators also. So these are often referred as relational operators or comparator operators because by comparing items, they determine how the items are related. Okay, so Python offers three other logical operators. Those are nothing but the Boolean operators, which we had seen in the earlier videos. So that can access multiple comparisons before making the final decision. So we'll be seeing a few examples throughout the course also, if wherever we are using conditions. So the first ever condition statement which we will be seeing is if statement. The word if is used a lot in all other apps or computer programs to make uh, to make judgments. Okay, so the simplest syntax is something written like this. Okay, so wherever you can find the text being bold and italics, so that is where a code is there. Even if you can observe the same in the previous videos also. So the first do this line. The first thing what it does over here is it will check whether the condition is true or false. If a condition, so here condition will be having an expression, so where it will be evaluated and finally we will be getting a boolean result. So whether it is a true or it is a false. So if the condition is true, then it will go and do this. Okay, so first the do line is executed when the condition is true. If the condition is false, that is the first here we have do this, right? So the do this will be completely ignored. It won't be even executed. Okay, and regardless of what is the condition is the next line. Okay, so do this no matter what is the code I have written down over here. So this will be executed after the if condition. So if condition is true, then this do this statements will be executed, and if at all it is false, it won't be executed. In both these conditions, either executing this do this or not executing it, finally do this no matter what will be executed. So this means a lot in Python, like we'll be seeing in shortly. So Python basically a lot of algorithms, everything works on if statements. Also, we'll be seeing if else statements and also else if statements in the further videos. So this is a very basic syntax, and here it will work like this kind of syntax will work only if there is one particular statement over here. Okay, in the do condition over here, if at all we have only one line of statement. Okay, so what if there is multiple statements? So usually if you have only one condition, you can use such scenario. And if at all there is multiple statements that has to be executed based on the condition, then we'll have something syntax like this. And here we have a special syntax known as indentation. Okay, so basically here whatever if statement is, under this statement we will be having few white spaces or a tab. So don't mix up with using a white space or a tab. Okay, so either use white spaces or use a tab. So again, I'll be explaining that with respect to the coding part when we work on Jupyter or any other further videos. If at all we work on Microsoft Visual Studio or Jupyter notebooks. So again, in that also we will be seeing indentations. Okay, so indentations tells this whatever is the multiple statements is below this particular conditional statements. It even holds true for any other maybe loops which we'll be seeing later. Also, it can be under function definitions, which we'll be seeing later on. Okay, so that holds true for this. So now, and this do this no matter what. So that will execute no matter what happens. Okay, so that is if condition. So coming to the next kind of condition, again we'll be seeing in detail with if condition, if else if, everything with respect to coding. So before that, we'll go to if else condition. Okay, so in if else condition, so far we have looked into some of the example codes where we'll be like seeing only with respect to true condition. Okay, So basically those examples we'll be seeing. Okay, so if these true conditions are false, then what? The code is simply ignored. In certain situations, you want something else to be executed. Okay, so basically at that scenario we will be using an if else condition. So basic syntax is something like this. So we'll be having a if condition, do intended lines. So this is like whatever the lines are intended over here. Okay, so the indentation is nothing but over here. So indented lines will be executed. If the condition is false, then the else part will be executed. If it is true, then if part will be executed. If it is false, then else part will be executed, and remaining code will work as it is. So again, we'll be seeing more examples of it. And what if we have we have multiple conditions? Okay, so for that we have else if condition. So basically we call it as elif condition in Python. If you see any other languages like C for example, over there you will find else if, but here like else space if again. So that's how it works, but here we have something known as elif condition. Okay, so else if is concatenated in one single word. Okay, it is merged into one single word. So the syntax of else if condition is something like this. So basically it will begin with a if condition. It will have few lines of codes which will be indented. So basically this will be the lines of codes that will be executed when we have a condition of true, or it will check else if, when only when this condition is false it will go to elif block. Over there it will check for another condition. Okay, and if this condition is true, then this block will be executed. And after this you can again have an else condition over here, which I have not mentioned it over here, but definitely you can have an else condition and execute anything else, or you need not to have an else condition. It is not mandatory, but before an elif condition you should definitely have an if condition. Okay, so after that we will be having finally like these unintended codes will be running no matter what. So in the next video we'll be seeing all examples for our conditional statements.